Viewpoint. My name is Oleksiy, and right now I'm joined by the Agriculture Minister of Ukraine, Mr. Oleksiy Pavlenko. Mr. Minister, welcome to Viewpoint.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Mr. Pavlenko, Ukraine has always been a breadbasket of Europe. Now, with the war raging in eastern Ukraine, now with the Crimea Peninsula being under Russian occupation, the reports say that at least 7% of Ukraine's territory is not being controlled by the Ukrainian government. Can you tell us how does that affect the agriculture sector of Ukraine?
Ukraine is not only the breadbasket, it's now the food basket, not only Europe but also the world. We're feeding 140 million people worldwide, not only Ukrainian people. And you're absolutely right, with the occupation of Crimea and war in Donetsk and Lugansk, Ukraine lost up to 1 million ton of harvest of grain, but it's in total less than 3%. So total harvest, we expect this year to have up to 60 million tons. And last year, it was a record figures of 64 million tons. And now we also managed to have the record figures for export, 34.6 million tons of grain.
So basically, it looks like this won't affect too much the agriculture sector and the export of Ukraine.
It won't affect so much, and the territory which under control of Ukrainian government in Donetsk, Lugansk, at this moment, 2.5 million tons has been harvested already. It's absolutely peaceful situation.
Understood. Mr. Minister, can we talk a little bit about the reforms? Last year, you announced that you're introducing a pilot project. The ministry will be is introducing this pilot project in one of the regions of Ukraine. Basically, you're introducing the so-called agricultural receipts, which is a form of payment, which is a form of financial instrument, very similar to the promissory notes. And I've spoken to the industry players, and they say that this is an excellent idea. However, it is not working. Basically, the companies are not accepting these agricultural receipts as form of payment. What is ministry planning to do to convince the companies to work with this instrument?
Last Thursday, it was official launch of the project only. So we managed to have successful project in Poltava region with the 40 million hryvnias of promissory notes which has been given, meaning that this is the same instrument which has been used in Brazil. And with this instrument, Brazil was able to triple their production. And it's with a focus not only on the big business, but also on the small, medium-sized business. Actually, you're able to pledge future crop and get the financing right now, both financial and, let's say, commodity. And with that, you're able to attract the financing. So far, it was very successful in Poltava region. By the end of the year, we'll have also 3 additional regions, agrarian regions. And next year, we'd like to multiply for the whole country of Ukraine. The main issue with the capitalization, Ukrainian agri is very much undercapitalized. It's 2.5 times less financing involved now in Ukrainian per hectare comparing to Poland.
Well, obviously, the banks are not willing to issue financing to the companies.
Yeah, that's why the yield at least 2 times less than, for example, European one.
Yeah, but what about the companies which are working in this industry? How do you convince to start working with this instrument?
You can convince only the way when you show the attractiveness of the instrument. You cannot convince anybody. You show the attractiveness, and now we have also a lot of people who would like to take it. You should show the success and the transparency and ability and understanding. They should understand the instrument, how to use it.
Are you talking to the industry players? Are you talking to the market players? Are you discussing this with them? What kind of feedbacks are you hearing from them in this respect? 1
hour ago I was in a Congress, Agrarian Congress, and we also discussed this instrument and had very positive feedback. Because the first stage is to make it a debt instrument, and the second stage also to involve the exchange market. Now, today we have also big visit from Chicago Stock Exchange here, and last month also there is a plan to discuss with Euronext, because we'd like to introduce here also the commodity exchange, and to make, because we're number 3 worldwide player, we have number 3 worldwide position for export. That's why I'm sure we also have a proper commodity exchange to show the transparent quotation and also liquidity on that.
Talking about the agriculture companies, just last year, one of the largest Ukrainian agriculture company, Agrarian, which is being traded on Frankfurt Stock Exchange, defaulted on its 400 million euro bond payments. And another large agriculture company, which is basically the largest landowner in Ukraine, Ukraland Farming, is also in a very dire financial situation. 2 of the banks, which are part of this Agrarian Farming Group, they are now under liquidation. The company is expected, some experts say that it might have difficulties with repayment of interest on its Eurobonds. What is ministry doing to reverse this situation? Because obviously the defaults of such huge companies, they not only harm the industry, but they also depreciate the Ukraine's attractiveness for foreign investors.
You're absolutely right. That's why ministry is very much active, especially in case of Bria. There was an official statement from Rothschild Foundation, who are actually now taking the bondholders on their let's say, on their balance, saying that they're controlling now all the bondholders, officially statement that ministry helped a lot. We took active position on MREA, and with help of the ministry, there was first in a history case when the bondholders took control over the company. And Mr. Huta, who is now hiding in Switzerland, he has red card from the Interpol, announced the search from Interpol. That's why, at this moment, current company MREA is controlled by the bondholders, more than 200,000 lands under their control. They also gave additional financing, $40 million, and now they do actually the successful harvest, and now they're also thinking about how to attract financing for additional actually land and additional growth. This is actually now not the bad story, it's a success story where the government took, let's say, the position that this is in this country, you can invest safely.
Yeah, but it looks like this is more of a reactive approach than proactive approach. Is the ministry doing something to prevent Ukrainian companies from defaulting on their foreign obligations?
It should be also joint, mutual, let's say, approach how to prevent the companies from the default. I have the issue, for example, why, for example, bondholders were blind. And the issue was also why they are not being so much pushed to audit company, and why the figures were fraudulent and were not correct. So the bondholders should also react in terms of internal controls, in terms of the board and the top management.
Well, the investors are like the investors.
This is example of the business situation.
Yeah, but the investors who are investing
I can give you
Ukraine,
another examples as well. I can give you example of company MHP, where I have the biggest financing from IMF, EBRD, and other. I can give you example of company Nibelon, which received $130 million only last week from EBRD as well, because they show the transparency and they show also the results. We have different cases. Because here, let's say, back to basics. If you invest somewhere, think about where you invest. And don't believe simple in a picture. Go deeper in the figures and dig into it. It's everywhere in all of the world. So you should be very much careful when you do the investments.
Yeah, but if you do the investment into a public company, which securities are being traded on a foreign stock exchange, you believe the financial information, which is being released by the company, which is being audited by one of the reputable Big Four firms.
Is there any legal courts to the Big Four companies? No. That's why the issue it should be. You should react and do it.
So you're inviting investors to sue the companies?
I'm inviting them to have the same approach as they do everywhere in the world, internationally. Because we are here an internationally open country. We show now that we'd like also to have international standards of the reporting, of the compliance as well. That's why also of the responsibility as well. And from the other hand, I can tell you that we have now huge interest to the agribusiness here in Ukraine. We don't have empty land at all. We don't have so many companies on sale. The pricing, if you'd like to enter the business, the same as they were before so-called crisis.
Mr. Minister, going back to the case of MREA, the company, as we discussed, defaulted last year on its Eurobond payments. One of the shareholders, one of the majority shareholders of the company, Mr. Huta, who was also chairman of the board of directors, has fled the country. He's now being on the search list of Interpol. At the same time, Ms. Władysława Rutecka, who is currently your deputy minister, was serving as deputy CEO in that very same company. Do you think it was reasonable to bring a person into the government from such a toxic company?
It's a question to the company. And you have so many people. For example, Władysława Rutecka, she was HR, human resource, and responsible for PR, public relationships. She wasn't involved in financial transactions, and she has been checked by the intelligence. And you have so many people working in different companies as well.
Well, she was definitely senior management. She was definitely senior management. And this is a question to you. You brought her into your government.
Yes, and I am saying to you that we checked before when we introduce people to the government. And also, once again, you should look at the people who were not involved in financial transactions. You have so many people from the different banks, also from other companies. I can give you the list of hundreds of companies who were bankrupt, and people are in the government as well. So the issue, if the people were not involved in financial transactions, if they have foreign education, if they're able also now to work for the government and do as well, for example, now. By the way, she is very much reputable. I'd like to say that I'm really proud that she is in the government. Because now she is leading 170 experts from European Union, USAID, and also she is now doing the Agrarian receipt project. She's under her control, and plus together with IFC, now she is doing very big projects in terms of actually full relaunch of agrarian insurance, trying to kill all the companies in before which were much corrupted, and now trying to relaunch from scratch. That's why I'd like to treat people from things they're doing, and not from the gossips.
Understood. No, I'm not talking about the gossips. We were talking about facts. And the question is, you don't consider that she is bearing some reputational risks
I don't
for the
consider
government?
this. Yes.
Understood.
I think that company Mria officially stated from the bondholders that the ministry took active position, and we have official thank you from the bondholders that we took active positions, and we helped the bondholders to take control over the company.
Understood.
It's now success story for Ukraine that the company Mria is under control of the bondholders.
Mr. Minister, and my final question, can you tell us a little bit about your fight with the Finance Ministry? Back in the summer, the Finance Ministry was pushing to cancel the preferential tax regime for the agricultural companies, something which obviously the agriculture companies, the unions of the agricultural companies, and your ministry was strongly opposed to. So can you tell us why the Finance Ministry was so adamant to cancel this treatment? And just to be clear, the Parliament did not pass this bill, but there was a big fight. So what happened?
We don't have a fight. We have constructive dialogue. And it used to be in every government. When financial ministry is thinking about the budget should balance. And for example, every operational ministry, such as agri ministry, would like to have as much as subsidies, dotations, and direct support as well. So our approach is the same as it was. So I'm not so much care about how it would be given to the agri-business in terms of VAT regime or in terms of direct subsidy. I know for sure that, for example, in Europe, 230 euro coming per hectare as a direct subsidy. And also we have other examples.
Well, it looks like still a lot of problems to tackle for you, Mr. Minister. Many thanks for finding the time to come and talk to us. This has been Volodymyr Sulu for Viewpoint, together with the Agriculture Minister of Ukraine, Mr. Oleksiy Pavlenko. Thank you for watching us.